What's up, everyone? So we're going to go ahead and try to knock out another video here. And this is basically going to go over everything you'll see as a property owner, how to use the property owner account. And we're going to use the exact same property owner account I created in the introduction video there. So should be really easy for you guys to kind of follow along, hopefully. If not, just comment, let us know what we can do better, all that good stuff. So we'll jump right into it here. Go full screen so you guys can see what we're doing. So again, I'm logged in as the Mike owner account that we created earlier. And you can see if I go to my properties, I don't have any properties yet. So let's go ahead and fix that. We'll click add a new property. We're just going to say haunt host test. Super scary, Burr. Tap haunting. That's really crazy. Put in our address here. All good haunted spots are in Salem, Florida. Everybody knows that. We're going to set our price. And then this is kind of just a cool way of showing what your property is known for the most. A few different types of haunting here. We're just gonna do cold spots because it is January, so I'm sure it has cold spots, right? Again, you'll fill all these out exactly like you would want to advertise your property on any other platform. The main thing is here, so when you create a property, it's going to set to active automatically, but you can feel free if you just want to lock your property in. Once you've got your address for your property on the app, nobody else can create an event there or create the property until you sell your property on the app. So basically this, leave it as inactive if you want, locks it in. Your property is just there as a placeholder in case you ever want to use it. We'll go ahead and just create an image. Of course, you guys won't be able to see, but it just opens up a local, file browser where you can select your image you want to use there. And then create property. So now here in my properties, you can kind of see, just a brief overview of how many properties you have. You can have multiple properties as one owner. I know a lot of people do have that. And then if you go to browse locations, now you can see the haunt host test property, which is yours. And it tells you it's yours. You can't see the booking calendar or anything from your view just because you can't book your own property. But it shows you your check in, check out, all that good stuff. It opens a nice light box. If you did have any other images in there, you could cycle through them. So the first thing you'll want to do is go to manage. And this is the owner dashboard pretty much. So this is how you control everything about your property. All the stuff we already filled in here at the top. And then you've got a lot more options here. So you can think of bookings as overnight complete bookings such as Airbnb or renting a hotel or something like that. So these are the settings for if somebody wants to rent your location for the entire night. So you'll set how many the minimum guest is, what your max guest is. I mean, you can change it to whatever you want, but it defaults to 1 in 10. I think 10 is a good max guest number. Default check-in time. This is where the guests will know when they check in, when they check out for a booking. This has nothing to do with events. This is just for your overnight bookings. I would say most properties are probably in the 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. range. So we'll just go 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. That's pretty standard if you rent a haunted property. You want to be sure and set your time zone just so that when the events or the booking are made through the app that the time is the same as the time at your property. Doesn't really matter what time it is in California if your property is based in the New York time zone. So you want to make sure that's set correctly. So every time that anybody sees is based in your property's local time. Here's the amenities tab. So this is where you can just select things that you provide. A pretty normal thing would be coffee, bathroom facilities, parking, stuff like that. There are other ones you can select as many or none of these that you want. Wi-Fi. So banned items is where you can prohibit any item. So any of these items you select are things that you do not want people who book your property to bring with them to the property. Most of these are pretty, straightforward. And you can always request others through your feature request app. If you feel like we missed some here, we'll be happy to add those for you pretty easily there. You'll want to go ahead and define your cancellation property. I know most of you will have a pretty, elaborate one, but for us, we're just going to say no refunds on cancellations. I can learn to spell there. And then here at the very bottom, you can decide whether a waiver is required or not. We'll just, for the sake of the tutorial here, we're just going to go ahead and create a waiver. We're going to upload a PDF, which you don't have to do it that way. You can type it all out if you want. If you already have one, in a text format or something, you can copy and paste it in here and it'll be the exact same, but PDF is just a really clean, easy way of doing it. We'll just name this waiver default. You can name that whatever you want. Upload the waiver. Upload it successfully. So then you'll save your changes. It gives you the nice response here to let you know that's saved. And then you can go to the images tab. So here you can add more images. I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple of more here. Upload that one. And you can have up to 10 images, so you can add 10 here. And then you see how this is primary, but you can go ahead and star that. So if you wanted this new image to be your primary image, now on your bookings page, that image will be your main image. So now that we've saved that, we'll go ahead and check that just so you can see. Now the Haunt Host test has our new image updated there. But we'll stay in manage property here. We did images, so now it's calendar. And this is your booking calendar. So this is the main calendar that shows if you have bookings, if you have blackout dates, all that good stuff. So we're just going to go ahead and we'll just say we've got a week that's already booked. So we'll say next week, January 25th through the 31st. Is pre-booked, and we'll add a blackout range. And you can do a single date, you can do, however you want to do it there, but that will set the full week is blacked out, so nobody will be able to book that. And we're just going to double check here. Well, you actually can't see your own property, so you won't be able to see that. Now that is in fact blacked out, so nobody will be able to. I can actually show you with another location we have here. These red, they will show as reserved. That's what a blacked out date or timeline looks like. Just for your information there. So we've got that blacked out. Let's go to settings now. And here's where it gets pretty elaborate on what you can do. You can have a flat rate, which is the $600 per night you've already set. You can also do dynamic pricing. So when you do dynamic pricing, go ahead and save that. Then you can add a pricing rule down here at the bottom. So it's $600 a night always, but for you can have special events, you can have seasonal rates, and the seasonal rate can be an entire date range or it can be a single date. So we'll do a date range. And our seasonal date, we're just going to say is October, right? Because that's usually haunted properties seasonal rate time there. So we'll do October the 1st through October 31st. And for those nights, we want to make it 700 a night. So we'll go ahead and add that rule. And you can see the pricing rule has been added now. So as long as you're on dynamic pricing, you can see down at the bottom, you've got a seasonal 10/1 through 10/31, and that seasonal rate is 700 a night. So anybody booking any of those dates, they're automatically going to see the updated $700 a night. You're not going to see the standard $600 a night rate for those dates. And you can add as many pricing rules as you want. You can make every Saturday, Sunday. So if you do weekend rates, you can pick the days of the week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Anybody checking in on those dates, you can make it $650 per night for weekend rates. And both of these rates work together, and you can disable them, etc., anytime there. So if you book a Saturday, October 1st through the 31st, you're still going to be going by the seasonal rate because it's the highest of the two. So even though it's a Saturday where it says $650, it's actually going to be seasonal because you're inside the state range. So quite a few ways that you can really narrow down exactly what price you want people to pay during what times. Another option here is allow events at this property. So, some property owners don't want other people or companies hosting events at their property. Totally get it, totally understand. So you would not check this. Even if this is not checked, you as the property owner can still host events. This setting is only for other people on the app who create events. If you check this setting, it's going to give you more options. So it'll require approval from you before their request is accepted. So if they go to create an event, it's going to send you a request. They go ahead and pay your base event fee, which most people are going to be the same as the overnight fee. Pretty much it's going to be that, or you can set it to whatever you want your base event fee to be. So if somebody wanted to rent, your property out for overnight and they're going to sell tickets on this app, this is the price they'll pay you. And before they send the event, we'll go ahead and capture that payment. We don't charge the payment yet. It's just captured, so meaning their payment was approved, but it hasn't been actually pulled out of their account yet, and it won't be until you accept. If you decline their request, their money is released and nobody's ever charged for it. Maximum event duration. So this is where you would create, the limit on how long somebody can create an event. So if it's at 8, their event can only last for 8 hours. If it's at 6 or 5, their event can only last for 5 hours. And these are all checks that's done if they're creating an event on the app. Anyone can create a custom event at any location that's not on the app. But even if they go that route, if they go with a custom location event and they type your address in, that's your address to your property, that will stop them from creating the event, and it will automatically send you a request, or it'll tell them events are not allowed at this property, even if they try to skirt around and go with a custom event. So it really just shows you as the property owner, you control your property on this app. You determine exactly how that property is managed on this app. Buffer time between events. So if you want people to be able to host multiple events per day, I know that's not something a lot of people would want to do, but if it is, you absolutely can do this. This is basically, if there's 0 buffer hours, it means someone can create an event ending at 7 and another one beginning at 8. If you have a 3-hour event buffer, if the previous event ends at 7, the next event wouldn't be able to start until 10. And that's just for you to set up. allowing cleaning, reorganization, whatever you need to do between those events, you can do that here. You can set that buffer so that it will automatically run that check when they create the event. Checkout buffer. This is for events that begin on a day where a booking ends. So if someone rented your property Friday, they had it Friday night, they check out at 4 a.m., this is the event buffer hours that you would put before an event can begin after checkout. So if you're checked out with this property, they would have checked out by 4 a.m. If there is no event hour buffer, then someone could create an event at 5 a.m. But if you create an event buffer, after checkout, that means we'll say 5 hours. So if you're booking checked out at 4 a.m., you've got a 5-hour wait time. The next event couldn't begin until 9 a.m. And you can set this to whatever you want. Giving you, again, full range of how your property is used, how all the booking calendars work together, and all the time you need in between events and bookings combined there. Start time restrictions. You can set this to, it's pretty self-explanatory, but anytime means event creators can choose any time to start their event. So anytime in a 24-hour clock, they can start an event at your property. That's probably not going to be used by most people, but it's there just in case. Fixed time means all events must start at a specific time. So for instance, if you've got your property, people can book it from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. Well, if somebody comes on a Friday that's not been booked already, and they want to create an event, you can line this up to where they can only create it at 6 p.m. And then using the max hours, you could set that up to where any events created at your property would be basically the same as the booking time. They would be forced to start at 6 p.m. and then they would have their 8, 9, 10 hours or whatever you need to equal your 4 a.m. there. And that way it just makes it easier on you as a host and an owner to know exactly when people is going to be showing up, and set the correct buffer times and all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead and save event settings there. Event settings updated. And that pretty much covers, all of your available options here for your property. The last tab would be evidence. So this top tab, this is basically how you can control who can upload evidence to your main property page. When enabled, ghost hunters who have visited your property can upload their paranormal evidence. So that allows people to upload evidence. You turn it off, you lose all your other settings because it's not really needed. Turn that on, and then you have another option to require approval before publishing. So this means even though they can upload, if you have this enabled, you must approve. It will send you a request. It'll show you the types of images they've uploaded, or the types of evidence, either an image, EVP, or video. And you can even change those. You can allow only video. You can allow only images. That's totally up to you, whatever you want them to allow. But with this on, it just means you approve it first. If that's turned off, then anything that the Ghost Hunter uploads, it will automatically be shown on your main property page without your approval. So most people are probably going to want to leave that on. Save your settings. And then again, we'll just go ahead and upload some evidence here since the other one looked kind of inactive there. You can say, what type of evidence it is. You can put what date it was captured. Again, what it is exactly. And then it will show you the evidence right here. And plus, it'll also, again, it'll show you that on your main property page. When you scroll down to evidence, it's going to show you all the evidence. Now you're the only one that will see like pending review, approved, all this stuff. Pending review will be, that's where you'll see the evidence people have uploaded for your review, and then you can accept or decline that evidence. But everybody else will just see the different types they can look through. They can't see these statuses here when they come to your page. So I think that pretty much wraps up the property management side. So then we'll get into where you can view all events, you can view all bookings, which we don't have any just yet, and then you can view staff. So if you click staff, you click manage staff for this property, and you can set your background image, and this is where it shows like a staff calendar view. Now when you have bookings or you have events, they will pop up here, and we're going to get further into the staff thing. I don't want to do everything in one video because it's going to be way too long, but this is just basically showing you kind of an overview of what your staff view looks, or staff management looks like. You can create all different colors on your staff. You can invite your staff, but again, we're going to go through all that stuff. And then you can see their assignments, there. So that pretty much wraps it up. This will be the property owner's video for how to create a property and what all your property settings look like. And then in further videos, we're going to get into, what a property event looks like, what's managing your staff looks like, and all that good stuff here on the same account. Well, I hope that answered some questions for you on how you create a property and what the settings do. Again, we're going to keep plugging away on these videos here over the next few days, and we'll have a total list of videos and a bunch of videos for you guys to dig through. Appreciate it. See ya.